like I was saying, I used to stand up for my little sister and everything. And I used to get beat a lot because I was trying to stand up for her. When I was young, like, they would be beating us and I would stand up for her. My mama would leave a man in the house with us, beating on us. And, we were very young, and my older sister would leave to go with her daddy, but me and my little sister would be there, and he'd be beating on my stepfather and everything, and for no reason. And sometimes my little sister, I was 2 years older than her, but she was born preemie and everything. So, I was breastfed and everything. So, I go to tell him don't hit her like that, and he be beating on me more. And I think she just got used to letting me take the fall for her. But we're an adult, and I don't know what kind of demonic shit they got going on. But ain't nobody gonna make me no fucking scapegoat for this shit. So I'm gonna tell you what's really going on. And then, okay, I'm gonna tell. Jesus, Jehovah, tell on them. Okay. So my mother moved in with a man in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And we started going to elementary school, and, like, I was straight A student, and I took up for my sister there. Anybody make fun of me, I take up for myself. Anybody make fun of my little sister, I take up for her. And we walk home from school, on the bus, outside, PE or whatever, because, like, my mother was always working, so there was nobody at the house to really take care of us and show us how to be young women, how to take care of ourselves, And sometimes other kids, they would make fun of us. We started going to, we were very fortunate. My mom had a really big house out there with my stepfather. We went to church rarely. We went to New Birth for a little second, but not really a long time. And so mostly my little sister just sit around watching cartoons and stuff. And I would sit up in my room. And this was when it started to get bad, because she started to get really spoiled by my mom. And if I ever wanted to watch television or something, like, I couldn't do. Because my little sister would pick up the remote control and throw it at me and bop me in the head. I never could enjoy the television or anything like that. So I didn't watch it. I stayed up there in my room. And then, like, my little sister would go place and be gone, and I never touched a television. And they would leave me in the house by myself. And I would go to the neighbors and try to find food and things like that. And sometimes my neighbors would give me food, the big house, big neighbor. They got all kind of food in the house. I mean, it's the food getting old and everything sitting up in the house. And my little sister would go, and my older sister would be gone, and my mom would be gone, and my stepdad would be gone. And they wasn't even really into much curricular activity at the time. But certain family member and people and friends would favor them and let them go. But me, no. The man, he'd come and try to find a reason to beat me at the house. And then when my sisters would come around, the man would try to find a reason to be on me and my sisters. And his family would come around, and they would sit there and be cheering him on to beat us for no reason. And he'll be like, waking us up in our sleep to beat us for something that he claimed we didn't do around the house that day, or that we did wrong. And then, like, my mother will just let him do it. And she had a job, but it seemed like she wanted a man more to let him just beat us for no reason, to make him feel like a man. And then that made her feel like, oh, I got a man. Letting him beat on my kids for nothing. It was some straight bullshit. that's when I started to hate my mother. I started to hate her because I knew what she was doing. You over here letting him beat on us just so you could say you got a man. And you know he ain't got no reason to be beating on us. And then like he was making us cook for him and like sausage and hot link and fish and everything. Like we his wives. We ain't his motherfucking wives. The hell you got us sitting there cooking shit for him like that and we only in second, third grade and shit. Like nowadays that, and it was only when his family wanted to get together, then they'll have us like try to cook and then they'll be in there laughing and wanting him to be whooping us and try to make it seem like their daughters was so much better than us and they was some fucking monsters. We was beautiful. And they was jealous of me and my sisters. So that's why he was always beating on us and everything, and then trying to do it in front of his ugly ass family and shit. So they big ugly nasty fucking ass could be sitting there feeling like they feel better about themselves and their daughters while they in there beating us for nothing. But they never would do their children like that unless they were being bad as hell for real, and they was. And it took a long time for them to even beat their own kids. They was fucking bad. And then they be laughing at that crap and letting them get away with it. They had to literally be threatening to hurt one of their parents in order for their parent to be sitting there like, okay, I'm going to finally beat you. And then barely do. But for me and my sisters, they couldn't wait to find a reason to try to hurt us. And my mama was letting them do it. Well, she was letting him do it. And his family was thinking it was funny. Like it was something for him to glorify, to hurt us. And I stopped liking my mother. I didn't like her no more. And I already stopped liking her, because she was doing it. Like she was mad at Andrew because when she was living with him, he was out there in the street hoeing around. And she'll be up in the house with me. And I was 4, and then my little sister was 2. And my older sister be going to school during the day. She was old enough. She was 4 years older than me. So she was in elementary school and she'll be gone. And my father, supposedly their father, would be running around, going to work and everything during the day. But at nighttime, time to come home. He don't want to come. And then he don't want to pay the rent on time. He want to blow the money and stuff. And be out drinking and everything and going to the club and all this crap. That's what my mother said, And she's sitting there all sad, holding Shakina, holding my little sister and Icy. And I wasn't there long, I never remember being in none of their house too long. That's why I say I need to tell the story of my life. But anyway, so or show the evidence. I could tell you all day long. But if I can show you I telling the truth, then that's a whole nother story. And that's what they're trying to get strange men to try to stop me from doing. And strange ass women. So God, please deliver us from these strange children. But Lord Jesus, Jehovah, please help me to tell. So anyway, my mother was very sad. She didn't have no college degree, at first. She was real sad all the time because, Andrew, he wouldn't come home. And I would sit up and wait for him sometimes all night. And when he come, like, he'd be drunk, smelling like liquor and beer. Well, beer mostly, malt liquor. And I would take a pack of cigarette he got and go into the toilet and flush them. My mother would be asleep in the room, and my sisters would be asleep in the room, and I stay up on the couch waiting for you. Why you don't come home? I'd say I'm not going to sleep till he come. And I stay up watching something like Michael Jackson on the television or something. Doing a moonwalk or something like that. And then I stay watched in the dark in the television in the living room until he come. And he come in very late. And he smell like malt liquor when he come inside. And then he tried to give me a kiss on the cheek, and he smelled like malt liquor. And so, like, I knew there was something wrong with he. And then my mother would be like there with her during the day, and she'll take her to the leasing office if they have an event, and he come and show up, like for a second. And then there was like a day where he watch us or something like that. But when he watch her, Larissa, my older sister, her little friend come over, a little white girl, and in the bedroom, they tried to do things to me. Things that children should not do. A thing you don't try to do to your sister. And I got upset and I got angry about. And I go to tell their father what they do. What she do with her friend. And what she tried to do to me. And then my father, their father, he go into the room and he spanked them. Well, he closed the door. And I out there. And they in there. And it sound like they getting whooped, like a spanking or whatever for what they doing. But I not in there to see. And they crying and screaming and everything. And my mother was not there. And my little sister was not there. And so my mother come and do the Easter bunny for Easter, make some chocolate Easter bunny. And, their father come in with some strange meats to cook or whatever. That, like some, it seemed like some fish, but it looked like a shark or something. I don't know. I wasn't going to eat. And so I don't really remember much of eating anything around there. And I slept on the floor in the room. My sister had twin bed in the room. And they looked more alike. And I wake up. The only time I remember sleeping in the home. I don't ever remember going to sleep any other time. I don't have much memory in the house, but this memory that I tell you now, that's very strange to me. So I laying on the floor in the room. It's toys all around. But it's not really even my toy. Like maybe like one or two, but the rest of them belong to my sisters. And they're sleeping on the bed. In two twin beds. And I on the floor. I don't have a bed. And I didn't want to be on the floor and I was afraid. It was dark. But that was a nightlight. And I wanted to get in the bed with one of my sisters, But the bed was only a twin-side bed. And I was 4. My little sister was 2. And my older sister was like 7 or 8. So I am afraid. And I feel like an evil presence in the room while I'm on the floor. And so I get up and I go, I'm going to go and be brave and sneak through the hallway because the hallway was dark. And I'm going to sneak through the hallway and I'm going to go and lay in the room in the bed with my mother and my father. So that's what I did. I got up and I went to go and sneak in the bed with them. And when I go, I wake up my dad, and I call him their father now, but at the time I call him my dad. And I go, I'm going to go and sleep in the bed with my mother and my father, and I go to wake up my dad. And he picked me up and put me in the middle of him and my mother, and I felt safe, There was no sheet on the bed because I must have done that before. And I would be in the bed. So they didn't have no sheets on the bed. And then I fall asleep, safe in the middle of them too. And they fall asleep too. And we go to sleep. And that's all I remember, And one day, my mother changed the room around. And, she got my little sister in the bed with her. And then like she started trying to ask me to clean up the house and everything like that. But she wasn't asking my sisters to do. She was only asking me. And when you're a kid, you don't understand. And then like she threatened to beat me. So I went into the bathroom and I hid from her until my dad come home. And when he come home, I wasn't a bad kid. Like, I didn't really even play with the toys. So I didn't understand why did she want me to clean it up. Like it was mostly my older sister and her friends and stuff that was messing everything up. So I went into the restroom and I like, I gotta pretend like I use the restroom so she don't want me like. And I stay in there until my dad come home from work. Like someone call you or he called early. And he was saying like what going on, why I won't do what she say. And I just didn't want to do. I just didn't want to do. And then he was like laughing because I wasn't really using the restroom. I was not, And it just accident kept happening to me. The accident just kept happening to me in the house. There was a dog, a Rottweiler that they put in our bathroom, and it was his dog. And they left me in the house alone. There was nobody there. And I go to use the restroom. And because we would have to go use the restroom in my mother's bathroom, and the dog was in there scratching the door and boo-booing and everything. But for some reason, I opened the door and I like 4 years old, very young or younger, like, and I go to use the restroom, and I opened up the door, and the dog come out to scratch up me. She make me bleed, like she scratched me, coming running out, and I dragged the dog Rottweiler outside to try to throw her over the banister. And then my dad come running up the stairs like, no, no, no. But I like the dog gonna attack me. And that's why I was afraid of. But there was nobody there. So another time, and we getting out of his car and my finger slamming the door. And it was hurting so bad. And another time, something happened to me. I was playing with my older sister, and she was running through the woods. And we were going to the woods and get the honeysuckle and eat the honeysuckle out the trees and the bush. And then there was a cat. It was black and white. And it come out to scare me from never going into the bushes and the woods again with her. Because I turned to the side. It was nice and pretty on one side. It had black and white. But then it turned to the other side. And it was maggots eating on the flesh. And then it was coming near our home and near the steps. And it was so disgusting. I couldn't stand to see. It was still alive, walking like a normal cat. But on the side, it was wide open, the wound, with maggots crawling all inside. So I say I won't go into the woods ever again. So one day, she was running out in the street. And I was trying to give her a flower, and she was running away from me, and she was laughing. And I was trying my best to catch her. And I was getting a little frustrated because I didn't understand, like, why you running from me? I'm trying to play with you. And I was trying to catch her as fast as I could. And then that was all the last I remember. The next thing you know, I was inside the house. And my auntie Barb, my mother's older sister, was there. And someone hit me in the street when I was trying to chase Larissa, my sister. They hit me and I pulled out my hair. In a wheel, it pulled out my hair. And I didn't remember, like, when it hit me. I must have blacked out. But it was her. I was hurt a little bit, but I was okay. And my mother used to tell me, like, about Jesus. Like, say, I was the one who always used to say the name of Jesus in the house. And my mama would, she would film it and say, who's the coolest? And I go, Jesus. She go, who's the coolest? I go, Jesus. And she would record. She recorded it. And that's when I was 2. That's when I was 3. That's what I used to do. And so my auntie was there, and I never seen her before after I got hit. I don't remember her, but then I remember her from that day. She was on the couch, and she was like about to leave, I think, with my father. I don't know. And then my mom, she was sick all of a sudden. I don't remember ever really eating no food. Like, I don't. Like, so they never really cook real meals. Like, I don't remember stuff like that. Like, I don't remember getting, like, you know, like, corn on the cob and rice and chicken and fucking carrots and shit. I don't remember that shit. Like, I don't remember that shit. There was a back door. And they were like, I was like, oh, don't go out the back door. The steps too high. You're gonna fall, you know? But I don't remember no goddamn food. I don't remember sleeping in a bed. I don't remember nobody giving me no bath. I don't remember that shit. But I can remember all this other bullshit, though. So I sit like on the couch and my mother is right there. And all her hair fell out her head. And she was bald. All that was funny. She was bald. I remember she had a Bible. But I don't see no more. And then she said, I don't want Andrea to see me. I'm ashamed. I don't want my baby to see me like this. And so I like, Mommy, I come up to her. And she got a few little like prick her hair coming out her head. And the rest of it is gone. And you know how you see like those witch, you know, like on the movie? Like Hansel and Gretel when she finally showed what she really look like. That's what she looked like. But she was sick. She had cancer. And she told me, she said, you know, but I went up to her and I just said, Mama, I want to see you. I said, I love you. You my mama. I said, you're beautiful to me. And then I go, they take her to the hospital. And that's when Drew come around. He never come around. He always out in the street, you know, because he had a car. And my mother did not. So she stayed in the house with us and she didn't have a job either. And so he was like always gone and doing what he wanted to do and making my mother cry. And so like that's why I stay up and wait for he. And on late night when he tell my mother he working, I get the phone, I tell my mother you call he. And I was 4 years old. And I tell my mother, I say, you call he, you check and see if he there. And I make her get the phone and call his job. And I say, what do they say? And they say he not there. Or they don't answer the phone. I need to wipe my nose. Cause that's nasty. I hope I got some napkin in here for when he brought me Sunday last night. I made her call he. I brought the cigarette. And he get mad at me. I stay up every night waiting on he to go home. I make her call his job to see where he is. I tell him when my sister did try to do bad things. And I always play, I always keep my little sister happy like that. Because she was really just a toddler, you know, she's 2 years old, like, very good to her. Very good to her. Always entertaining her. You know, and she always stayed with my mother, and she was always smiling and happy and things like that. She was a good kid. So, like, all of a sudden, the father come around. When my mama sick now, he got to keep us. And he did one time, I remember. And they take her to the hospital like she gonna die. And I think, no, that's not right for her to die. She not going to die. And her sister come around. And then he come around. And I never see them around. You know, she always sad and stuff. Cause of he. So I go and I get on my knees in their bedroom. In the dark. While she at the hospital. With people telling me she going to die. And I don't know if anybody in the house with me. Cause I in the room by myself in the dark. And I get on my knees. And I 4-year-old. And I pray to Jehovah and Jesus Christ. And I didn't really know much about Jehovah, but I knew Jesus, and I didn't remember his name anymore. But my mother had told me that she filmed me saying his name when I was 2 or 3. And then she showed me the video, and it's true. I was saying he the coolest. I was saying Jesus, and I was a little kid. So, this time I just feel a prison, and I go to pray to him. And I get on my knees, and I don't say his name. But my mother teach me to pray for everybody in the world every night before I go to sleep. And pray to God and say the Lord Prayer, you know. I didn't know the Lord Prayer much, but I remember to pray for everybody in the world before I go to sleep. So I get on my knees and I say, you know, please don't let my mother die. And please heal her, you know, and make her well again. And so they come to me. And my mother well again. She not going to die. And so she get up and she go to get college degree. And she go to community college. And she invite me to the graduation. And I go with my sisters and my father. And she got friends and stuff now because she never did. The more friends she had were like people in the leasing office that invite us to something and we go. And he show up for a minute, you know. And then on the bus, like, you know, when people were saying stuff about this little Hispanic girl here and things, like, my mother got on the bus like one time and they never said we were beautiful and anything like that. And we was very beautiful. And so, you know, like, my mother didn't hang out with no one, like, in the neighborhood, very low income, you know, like, project neighborhood. And I remember, like, my sister's father tell me a story. He said, oh, there was a lake, and your older sister, she fell into the lake, and she about to drown. And I go running like a superhero. And I jump into the lake to save her. And I save her. And I save her out the lake. I never see my older sister fall into the lake. But he said, well, like, one day when she was coming, when she was outside playing with her friend, there was a lake nearby, yeah. There was a real lake. And he said she falling through, and he jumping to save her from out the lake. But I feel like he lied. Like it wasn't true. But it could have been. And there was a girl. Her name was Faleg. And she had an older sister. And Faleg was my older sister friend. And they was from Africa. And her older sister had a boyfriend. And she was very beautiful. And I didn't see her much before, but we used to go to Old Country Buffet to eat. And it was my favorite restaurant to go after church on Sunday. Because we went to a church one time, but I don't remember much. But we would go to Old Country Buffet, and all the other people would go there when they come from church. We was not the one really going to church. And I liked that about my family. I didn't have to sit up in a church like all day long. Like they were, my father was very cool. Like he was a really cool guy, you know. He was hip, you know. He was a really cool guy, and he was very nice to me. He give me anything I want. Like see when we go there. And we would line up, you know, to all get the food at the restaurant. And then they tell me that someone killed Faleg older sister behind the restaurant. And I never like to go anymore. And it was my favorite restaurant. They say her boyfriend killed her. That he was jealous or something that he killed her. She was the older sister. And I didn't know how to understand why they could do. Why could they murder her? And so there was a young man. And I wanted to go, you know, by the pool in the neighborhood. And there was a young man.